See, the Bible has two things. It has messages and it has pictures, characters. Now, the message of the Bible is, for people, it's a little bit too much. They listen to it and they fall asleep. And if they don't fall asleep, they may act upon it, which would be worse. The characters of the Bible are, in a way, intermediaries. They give the ability to make a contact, but they are not too sharp at messages. Therefore, we can get a connection, and the connection is our ways of getting more deeper into the Bible. One of the powers of the Bible is that the images there are very, very lively. Whether you like them or dislike them, but they are lively, they are alive. They are very much alive. The style of the Bible is a very, very, I would say, thin, as contradictory to fat style. You don't have big things about the big people of the Bible being so and so, or giving them lots of monologues to speak about. You have a story, a very thin and a very skeletal kind of a poem. Because of that, they are far more powerful. Because I have my image, my basic internal thinking is completing all these things. Is completing it. Look, we know about so many people in the Bible. How did they look like? Nobody tells us, basically. Tall, but nothing really. So you don't have a description. How were they dressed? No description. How all kinds of other things. So we have to make the imagery on our own, which is one thing, and about their characters again on their own. So that is fascinating. Okay, look, he's a person. He's fascinating. See, surely more than most of the heroes that you have in films or books. I don't know if I'm allowed to quote Bernard Shaw, that wrote a play which was, in a way, all the plays full of anachronisms. He said, do you think that within 2,000 years people changed that much? It's funny. It's funny to believe in it. People did, for something to change, you need myriads of years. And so these people are very close to us. Of course, they didn't have cars. So that's not that essential to humanity. But otherwise, of course, we are the same kind of people. Same notions, same emotions. You get them as people. Some of them you like, some of them you dislike, some of them you just don't understand. So with the people with your own family or people in the street, it's the same thing. Sometimes we're in trying to make them into saints. The Bible has, the enormous power of the Bible is, it tries to stick the truth. And so we try to beautify them. And beautifying, very, very few things can stand beautifying. See, and those who are not beautiful look like some girls that shouldn't wear any kind of a makeup, and some of these people don't need it. So this beautifying is really, sometimes it goes the other way around. So basically, they are there, and the pitfalls are we're trying to beautify them. This is a saint, so you shouldn't say something like this. This is a bad person. He should be only bad. All this is what I call that is shallow and damaging to understanding anything. It is true also about one's family or one's friends. They are not made one piece. See, this is the way of trying to. If I'm in love with a person, it means if I'm in love with a person, also with some of the unpleasant parts of the person. Sometimes they are the reason why I fell in love with that person. So, and then sometimes it goes the other way around. But that is reality. I think that if the Almighty wanted to have only holy images, He wouldn't create people. He has angels and He can make them perfect. And with angels you can always deal easily. Now, if you deal with people, and people are intrinsically complex, complicated. So to make a hagiography is to take a real person and to overcast him with plastic gilding. Of course, we can see asking questions is basically always legitimate. Making assumptions is not. So I'm asking questions. I can ask questions about everything. See, even about the Almighty. To quote Jeremiah, he says, "God, I know that you are right, but I still have questions." So that's what we are doing in reading and understanding the biblical people. At least we get some kind of a more a more vivid picture. So we learned at least that the complexity of these things. We learned to what we should ask and what we shouldn't ask, and what are real questions and what are not. Sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes we come to identify ourselves with some of these heroes. Not let me just add, sometimes we can identify not only with the great qualities, I can get identified with the shortcomings. I say, okay, this was a great man. I cannot imitate his greatness, but at least he did something that wasn't completely perfect. So to this I can get a connection, but it's also a connection. So a connection, and sometimes it's the beginning of a love. Speaking about biblical characters and many others in the present tense is because we feel somehow they are living in the present time. And they are living in the present time because they live in my mind. They live in my imagination. They are there. See, it's to speak in present tense about anybody doesn't mean that he's just sitting here nearby. But I know him somehow, that he is there, he exists. Biblical characters are sometimes misunderstood because we want to create something different, something which is not right about them. So we try to twist them, and because they are twisted, they are not the real characters. So that is always a problem. The problem is always I'm an onlooker. I wish I could speak with some of these characters, but I cannot. So I can look at them, make all kinds of notions, and so sometimes I misunderstand them willingly because I don't want to understand them. Sometimes I misunderstand them because of my shortcomings, that is always a big problem about looking at others, and so they are in a way. They are our models for good and bad in the world. And we are working very hard to get from these models something that we can put ourselves in a way that it becomes meaningful to us. That's what we are working at. I want you just imagine that so-and-so, whoever it is, in the Bible or in any other books, is now alive. Try to make him a living being. So many times the teachers is trying to kill the people, to make them, to package them. And as you know, packages, to do a nice package, you have to cut things into squares. So you take great people and you cut them off, their arms and their legs, and you want them to be what I call things that are interesting or saying something. So that's what's happening. See, I remember my own experience. I was in first grade then learned the book of Genesis, and we came to the story about Jacob and his two wives. Now, for a strange reason, I don't know why, I just took the side of Leah, who is not. Rachel is the glorious, the beautiful one. I took and I was thinking about her, how pitiful her life was. And I was sitting there. I was about 6.5 years old, sitting, holding the Bible before me and crying. And I was not a crybaby, but I was crying what hard luck she had. Now the point was, because she was alive for me. I was thinking about her not because Leah Imenu, our mother, our matriarch Leah. I tried to, somehow she came to me as a living person, and I took pity on her. Many biblical characters are archetypes. I mean, they are not just what they are, but they become symbols of something else. See, some of them are our heroes. Some of them are other things. See, the patriarchs, Adam and the patriarchs, or Adam and Eve, they are archetypes. See, Adam is man as mankind. See, Eve is the what I call the wife, the woman. Archetypes may have their own individual life, but what remains out of it is not the individual details, but what is basic and essential, and all the rest is not that important. So there are lots of them that are archetypes. I see. Abraham is an archetype, and in a way, so is his son, so is his grandson. They are archetypes, but some of them are recognized, or at least they are distinctive for us. Sometimes we just know them as a story. Sometimes we only know them as an archetype, not as a person. We don't even think about them as people. We say what I call Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim. The deeds of the fathers are signs or was a path makers for the children. So in many ways, the people, the first ones in every way, they make some movements, and willingly or unwillingly we follow them. So they are cutting some of the paths, and it is true about everything, not only about science, but even about behavior. You see, you can see it. Sometimes the same behavior goes down for 10 generations. You see, same things, good things, bad things, but the first in every field, or the most influential in every field, they create something of a path, and a path is usually something that people will follow, even when they are not knowingly doing it. So they follow the path, and so it becomes in a way, if not a symbol, it becomes something that is compelling, or at least enticing people to follow. Saints we don't see over much, but we hope to meet some. Villains do we meet too much, and we wish to see less of them. Wise men are always joy to meet, not always, but usually joy to meet. Fools are infuriating if you think that you are not a fool. So these are the people that are basically people that we encounter one way or another. Let's just imagine make a selection of tall people and short people. It won't make much sense. But evil and good, or wisdom and lack of it, they are universal ways of dealing with things. So it's a kind of, look at the picture, see what characters that you see there. Some of them are you can get attached to. Some of them you have to work on it. Heroes are not only when you look at most of the boxing champions. After some second look, they are not even heroes. But they are heroes. Heroes are always there, which we say that people have some quality which is outstanding, which it may be courage in some heroes, it may be endurance, it's another kind of heroes, it may be wisdom, which is another kind of, it may be even saintliness, which is another kind of, but heroes are outstanding people that have some real qualities. The Bible doesn't deal too much with fools. It has fools in different levels, but you see, it deals much more with ignorant people, and there are many of them. And being a fool is not just being ignorant. See, in fact, there's no connection between ignorance and foolishness, or wisdom and foolishness. They can come together, but. So I don't think that there are many, but there are all kinds of things. They are sometimes laughing at what people, all kinds of simple things that people are doing in their life, which are just foolishness. See? And but sometimes they are foolishness because they are wrong. Sometimes they are foolishness because they don't make any sense. But still, they are all around us. So, sometimes it's always the question is so and so vicious, or is just a fool? Oh, surely there are lots of villains that are not black and white, or but that's people. See, to find something which is complete black is very rare. To find something that is complete white and shining is also rare. So you have things that move from one to another. Those who are completely one way or completely other way are just rare. It can happen, but they are rare happenings. Well, I won't say possibly some people will be offended, but I say that he is the snake is quite a common profession now in American city life, surely. But the snake is again looking at a snake. I don't know if you ever have the opportunity looking at the snakes. Snakes are, even when you look at them, they're extremely elegant creatures, and in a certain way fascinating. Even when they don't speak, fascinating. Not only when they kill you by poison, but they're fascinating. The way they move, the way they behave. Well, the problem is that usually we don't recognize them because they are well dressed, and don't introduce themselves. Please, I am Mr. So-and-so, the snake, and they come under different titles, So we don't recognize them. That's one of the problems. Say when I find out that a snake is a snake, sometimes it's too late because I'm already bitten up. But you have them all over. See, the sneaky, subtle, without not too many scruples, moral scruples, but lots of practical ability to change things, to move them. That's all over. So, can we be so to say always aware that who they are? They are working very hard not to show it. So it's a kind of a it's a masquerade in which the snakes have all kinds of covers not to be shown as snakes. So okay, sometimes hopefully when a person has a bite should survive and should at least know that is dangerous. God is not a character. God is the hero of the book. He's the hero of the Bible. See, the Bible he has around him. I mean, it's a very simple way how you find out who is the hero of the story. How many times is it mentioned there? The name of God is mentioned more than any other proper name in the whole Bible. So surely he's the hero of the story. Now with him it's the easiest. It's the easiest because even small children get to know that they don't know about him. They are pondering, thinking, but they don't know. So that's not the real problem. We have he's the hero, and when you know more about him, of course you are more perplexed because you see one of the little things that possibly are not common now is that do I have any respect for the things that are above me? Or anything is just things that I can make decisions about. So people speak about God in the way that they possibly won't dare to speak about their neighbor. See? So they speak, they make assumptions, they make accusations, or they give praise to what. All of that. So that's really not the real problem. There are other smaller heroes of the book that are perplexing and unclear. See, with God with God we know that we don't know, and if we don't know it, we should learn that we don't know. So that is the easier part. But the part is, see, is so-and-so vicious, is so-and-so good, is so-and-so a person that I should imitate, or a person that I should so this is much more difficult. Well, he never appears like being vicious, but he sometimes appears as being harsh, which is a different thing. Still, it's a different thing. So now the question is that, see, when a person is spanked in his life, sometimes he has to, especially when he grows up and begins to spanking his own children, you begin to understand better the motives. And the same thing, I mean, you grow up in a place, and I remember, again, a personal small story, it was, I had a grudge against my parents because at the time they promised me some gift and they didn't give it to me. At that time, I couldn't understand, and I didn't know. It was a horrible time in which the lives of all of us were threatened, and it was a real fear about what will happen in a few days in the future, and the result of a war could make life or death for all of us. So the fact that they forgot about the gift was quite understandable. It took me more years to put it into the right picture. So it goes about God, and it goes also about others. I mean, sometimes you don't have enough all the information, and you feel for one side. See, when you are a little boy, you think about yourself. The stories in the Bible or in any other books, they are never complete. They're always what I call a shortcut of something. So what is the long story? So the long story, you learn about it. And of course it changes things. I mean, it's true about even reading a biography of somebody. Read a biography of, let's say, speak in America, of George Washington. So you can have a small 3-line version, or you can have a few pages version, and you can have a version of which is a whole book. It will change, even though it doesn't have to be contradictory, but it will change. The details and the additions, other knowledge and other perceptions, they create different images. So we are reading them. sometimes what you see is not the right picture. You have to see the picture in a very different way. And when you see it in a different way, it's not contradictory in many ways. It is just, you look at this thing from one point of view, and now there comes another point of view and tells you what is in there. See, when you see things that's what people do even in our times. You see an event. So you see an event and you register it as this event. Now, if you add to it what happened in the past and what is going to happen further on, the story changes completely. If I see somebody beating up the other person, and I know whom I have to pity. This big bully is kicking a small guy. Now, sometimes it may seem that the small guy deserved all the kicking that he had, but for that I need to know more. And when I know more, that the story changes. And so, but that is true about almost everything that we see. That is also the idea of learning more, understanding more, and having a better perception of things. To get into our ancestors or our patriarchs is, among other things, I have to see them in a bigger picture. I have to see them in a bigger picture. Now, when I read it in one level, I read it in a level of grade 1. That's a picture. And sometimes the picture is a good picture or a nice picture, but it's not complete. Now, if I'm growing up, I have to have more and more material to know about it. It's true about understanding an apple or understanding a star. See, I need more material to understand it more. See, the star is a star, even in the way that the little boy looks at the star. Is the star the same? But when you are an astronomer, you see it different. It's not a different star, but the star grows. And so in a certain way, what the literature, and what our people added, explained it, and embellished the story. It's a part of the picture. But for that, I have to grow. See? If I'm trying to do it on the very basic level, I'm getting to the very basic level. See? So, and it is true about every description of every event. You can put it in a way that will make it. Oh, we have many people in the Bible that are, as they are, they don't seem to have a complete picture, but it has to go up. See, take a person like Benjamin. So who is Benjamin? One level, a second level, a third level. So Benjamin grows up, and there are people that are look, even a person like Pharaoh grows up. See, when you know more about it, when you think more about it, it's not just there was a vicious person who was called Pharaoh. That's not enough. So the image grows and sometimes changes. Sometimes changes in one way and another way. And sometimes when you want to come to what is the summary. So in many ways, the summaries that we make are summaries that we are made potem. For the time being, we have this image. What will be when I learn more and I know more or I think more? It may change. It may change. So the pictures, the images, the stories are become very different with the time. Some of them we after some time we get them as complete beings. Sometimes we don't. So, but that's as I'm saying, it's because the biblical images didn't remain like the cave paintings, hidden in a place for thousands of years. Nobody sees them. The biblical images are images that people our people were worried about, thinking about, adding, explaining, telling stories about. So in every time they become different. So they are growing with us, we are growing with them.